Episode 4.
Episode 4. We're gonna go below the plane.
Below the, what do you even call that?
The flight engineer, bro. We got the flight engineer for you.
Yo, do you ever notice, like, in every episode I start out with that laugh? Whatever.
It makes me laugh. So I was like, bah, 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 bah.
Oh, man.
Welcome back.
Episode 4. Welcome back. I know we say the same thing every week, but we're having so much fun do this. And the feedback, again, I know I say it, but it's the truth.
Say it again. Come on.
The feedback has been great. I feel like we're I don't want to make it like mushy, but I feel like we're touching people.
Yes. But guess what?
Oh, man.
We're going to have to redo that, man.
We'll edit it in post. Yeah, I mean, I feel like every time that we release another episode, we're reaching people in ways that is either helping them along their journey, helping guide their children along their journey, or some sort of that. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. We had a parent tonight come in and they were asking a question, and there was another parent that overheard it, and he pulled me over and was like, I guess that parent didn't listen to that podcast yet. That's something cool. That's awesome to hear. Because, like you said, I think we're reaching out to people and kind of just changing, if not the way they think, certain ways they think, about training, about anything. Really.
Giving them a little bit of information. Like the one thing that I wish that I had as I was not even going along my own journey, but as I was going along in helping my kids, like just some information. Like I feel like every time that, and I know I can relate to parents because it feels like, and I think I said this in episode 1, there's no manual for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's no manual on how to get to that scholarship, or how do I get to XYZ? How do I get the right AAU team? How do I get the right this? So there's no manual for it. So I feel like between you and I, we have that experience of the do's and the don'ts, what to look out for, and this. So it's like, why not give that information?
Yeah.
And
rather than bottling it up, just release it.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the thing, we don't know all of it, but we've been through the experiences. We've been, we kind of been through it all. We're still learning as we go.
Absolutely.
And
but even in that, there's like things that we'd say, you know what, if I were to do it again, I'd do it this way.
Right.
Or I would try it this way. And I can probably say.
And you're talking from a trainer aspect or a parent aspect.
Yep. From both.
Yeah.
If I were to train, because the thing that gets lost in a lot of trainer stuff is it's more than just a trainer. I used to say all the time, like, if you're paying for training, or if you're paying if you're paying for your child just to train, you're overpaying.
Yeah.
Because a trainer is much more than that.
Right.
Right. There's times where we've got to, like, players are just going through things mentally, and we become the psychologist. You know what I mean?
For sure.
We become the tutor.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it, because a lot of the parents maybe they didn't play at maybe a high school or a college level, but even just growing up, trying to be mentally tough. Yeah. So now you're seeing your kid maybe go through a moment. Maybe they're getting frustrated because they can't split a double team. They don't, or maybe they're getting face guarded the whole game. And, you go up to your parent and you're like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yep.
So that's where,
Yep.
and I had a couple parents reach out to me and talk to their kids, and I'm grateful that, I had a dad that, he prepared me mentally for any and all situations. Like he always gave mental tests, to see how I would react to certain situations. And no, I think that's great that we can give that back to give that feedback and just kind of help our players out through there.
Absolutely. What like, is there a moment in time that you could think about that was just like, wow, I can't believe like I'm doing this as a trainer? Like, is there one specific time where you said, yes, I know that I'm training this person or these people, but it became something else?
I think it's just the relationship that you have, that bond that you feel or that you connect with that player. Because like you said, if you're just paying for training, like you're not paying. I mean, you're overpaying. And if we have, I think it's just that overall connection in the relationship. You know them by name. You know what kind of like gets them going. You know what the right buttons to push.
Right.
You know how to have fun within the session. You know how to talk to them after the session, during the session, and kind of just really just afterward too, to kind of just talk about life.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that kind of hit me.
Yeah.
And it's great, because kids today, even just like overseas, professionals or college, like, people that have the highest rankings, like, they just talk to them because they're just human, like you and I, and and they go through stuff outside of the basketball court.
Absolutely.
I think that's the real gem of kind of just being a trainer.
I'd agree. Just there's just so much that goes into it, and being able to step outside those lines and kind of just have those conversations with them definitely is a gem. And I think even more so now than before. Like, if you think about, like, as adults, what we've gone through in the last 3 years, between COVID and being locked up and not locked up in jail, but locked up in our houses, which felt like jail for a bit.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That can be mentally straining. More so for kids who are used to just being with other kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
There was that long stretch where they weren't with other kids.
And even just think about like the kids that really don't have the social skills, right? And that kind of just put a more of a barrier on it.
Yeah.
Because now it's kind of like they just took a year away from them to gain access to interact with other kids, other people, other trainers, other coaches, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a great spot. I think people, they feel like relieved when they walk through the door. Like, man, I'm finally here. Now I can like relax. We can talk.
Yep.
I can watch my kid. And even the player, like, it's okay for me to fail because I know that I'm learning more about myself. I know how to get to point A. Because I got to go through B, C. Maybe it's backwards. I don't know. But and I'm glad that we are here to just lend that. And
you know what's really a great feeling though, and it's not
a massage.
Well, that part too. But when the training's over and the kids just sit there for like
dude, that's
30 minutes, hour.
Well, yeah, even they'll just go and shoot on their own, or they'll do drills.
Yeah. And it's like just knowing that they could just leave when they're done, right? But they just don't want to leave.
They don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like the parents are just out there in the parking lot for half an hour, and we're like, hey, you got a curfew anytime, or like what's going on here? And then they just be like, nah, my parents can wait, man. Like, this is my time. Hey, this is
that's all facts. We've definitely,
this is my other home.
Yeah, we've definitely seen and heard that many times. But listen, let's jump into I wanted to talk about something that we wanted to talk about something that was it could cause some debate, if you're not thinking about it the right way. But more or less, it's rankings, right? Especially when we just talked about there's really not a manual for this. Some people might hold rankings to a high priority, a high standard, a must-have. And let's just talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously there's going to be really...
What do you think about rankings, good or bad?
For the youth, I think it's bad. Me personally, in my opinion.
I would agree.
Simply because when the kid, let's say, when the kid sees it, like that particular player, right? Mm-hmm. It can get right to their head. Like, oh man, I'm number one. So then, and again, I'm just gonna put myself in that spot, like without having any motivation to work out or whatever. But let's just say I'm a natural, and I'm the tallest or I'm the biggest, whatever the case may be, in 5th grade. And I'm number one, and I see that, and everyone else is seeing that, and everyone else is reposting it or retweeting it. I don't know. It can get to your head of like, hey,
yeah,
I'm doing the bare minimum, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. And if I'm number one now, like who's gonna top me?
Yeah.
So that's where it can get scary at the young ages, because if you're just gonna do the bare minimum. Let's say you're at 6'2" in the 5th grade. You might not be, you might be 6'2" by your senior year. Mm-hmm. And if you just do, that, people are gonna overlap you. People are gonna pass you. So I don't like the rankings at such a young level. I mean, me growing up, I don't think there ever was rankings. I mean, around, especially in Michigan, I don't think we did rankings at...
Not as young as they are now.
No, they're getting out of control now.
Yeah, it is getting out of control. I think that I'd agree. They are. It's not necessarily... Well, I won't even say that. It's bad.
It's bad because, it's bad. Like, your friends are going to hype you up. Your parents are going to hype you up.
Yeah.
Your parents' friends are going to hype you up. And it's just like...
Or it's going to go the other way. Right, so your parents or your friends' parents see that ranking, right, and now they're like, he's not even that good. You know what I mean? So it becomes like
that's a feud that right part there.
Of it. Yeah,
it can become a feud.
So not only does it affect the kids, but it also affects the parents, right?
Yeah.
If they're not. How do I say, like,
if they're grounded. Not ready for it?
Yeah, if they're not ready for it, if they're not grounded in that sense, like understanding, how the rankings work and things like this, and things like that, it's just not a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, it could go both ways too. Like, let's say that you're not the most dedicated, motivational kid, and you're ranked number one, but let's say you're ranked number one and you do have that drive and that discipline. So at that point, I think if you have that discipline, that drive, the motivation, I don't think it really matters. Like, hey, like you're number one, but guess what? Like, hey, I don't really mind it. It's cool, but I'm gonna just keep working.
Yeah.
Because it could go both ways.
Yeah.
But you're seeing a lot of going one way, of like, hey, I'm number one, cool, I can kind of coast.
Yeah.
And that's where I said I think it can get into the kid's head.
I agree. I agree.
Because like they feel like they've made it.
Yeah.
In the 5th grade, like, come on. And
a lot of those don't pan out.
No, because they don't feel like they have to work. They don't have to work hard.
They don't pan out. Now, I think the biggest thing for parents to understand, and they may not understand it. Like I said, there's no manual to this, and there's no really. If you're not in the industry and you don't really know,
that's huge.
Sometimes well, I won't even say sometimes. A lot of times, the rankings are money driven. The politics in the rankings.
Yep.
And there's just so many different things that have nothing to do with the play at all. like the play of the kids.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Well, like I'll give you an example. I know there's been players out there, but that have got these rankings, and it's just really kind of based on, oh wow, I see this kid at every tournament that I'm at, so he's got to be good, so I'll rank him.
yeah.
Like that's actually a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And I was told by a parent, because me growing up, I never knew about the rankings at young ages. And then another crazy thing, like I heard that there you can actually pay for a write up on your kid. Mm-hmm. So if you're paying X amount of dollars for all these write ups, and then whoever in the ranking committee or whoever puts these rankings out, and you're, oh wow, I've seen and I've read 50 write ups on player A, he's got to be good, so I'm gonna rank him this number.
Yep.
Like
that's the game, right?
That's crazy.
So
man.
not only can you, first of all, anybody can create a ranking, right? and
Hey, I think you're number one. I rank you number one, guy.
well, I'd like to think that I was number one, but
He did not pay me to say that, I swear.
but in all honesty, if we wanted to, as a Hoop Lab
Oh yeah.
group, we could literally put together a website today that call it, I don't know what we'd call it, elite something with elite at the end makes it
Elite trainees.
official, right?
Hoop Lab.
As long as we throw elite at the end, it's official. So anybody can actually create something like that and build it up to be something. And that doesn't mean that it's credible.
Right.
Right? So that's the first thing that I think parents need to understand is you'll see a lot of times these rankings and things like that, but you have no idea who's behind any of these rankings.
Right.
I know that there was a story about a gentleman who basically felt as though his kid was at the top. So he basically created a ranking site and put his son at number one and everybody else after that. Which, I mean, is that ethically right? Probably not.
Yeah.
Does it give him credibility? Probably not.
Right.
But as a parent, if you don't know, or you don't see, you're not used to seeing these things, then you would think, oh man, there must be some validity to it.
Right.
The website looks nice. Mm-hmm. It's got a gold star on there or something like that. So
it made me put my email in when I.
So, that you just have to understand the game and how it's played. There's a lot of money involved with it, especially in youth sports in general.
Well, think about even just the social media world now, because everyone's got a phone, everyone's got social media, Twitter. Mm-hmm. I mean, word travels fast, but I just want to go back. Like, what are we showing? Like, let's say that I have a son and I'm paying for someone to write up a great story or a great review on my son. Like, what are we showing? Like I don't understand that. Why would you pay someone to write up your child? Because you're simply showing them like there's ways to get around things.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to work so hard because I got money.
Yeah.
Like you're not giving them, you're not showing them how to work. The work ethic's not going to be there. It's just sad.
Yeah,
man.
it's just, unfortunately, it's a place that we've come to in society, right?
That my kid needs to be known type thing, right?
Yeah. Well, even beyond that, it's like, how far will the money stretch?
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Not too many years ago. I mean, it may seem like it was yesterday, but not too many years ago, you had celebrities paying for their kids, for fake scholarships for their kids so that they can go to school. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunately it's where we are in society. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest takeaway is to understand a lot of these rankings have no validity.
Yeah.
So if your child's ranked there, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, or they don't deserve it. But take it with a grain of salt and keep doing all of the things that you can do to help them.
Right. Yeah. Well, just show them the positive and the negatives and be like, hey, listen, like you're ranked whatever, let's say 20th, that's cool if you just want to stay there. That's like, it's up to you. But you gotta, there's more that you gotta push.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, our eyes, we can see, if there's a number one player in the country or ranked wherever, and we see them play and you're like, who ranked that? Like, because because we're in the industry, and then you talk to college scouts, people that have been around the game, maybe they've already played D1 in the past. It's very visible to the eyes that are in the industry, and that's where it's just like, if you're ranked number one or high, like you can't just go around and just be like, hey, I'm number one, I don't gotta work, man. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just it's not a good look when you play bad.
No, not at all.
And
not
then after the game, you're not like itching to get back into the gym. You're on the sideline taking selfies and you're posted up and you just lost by 20 and you had 8 points, and the guy that you're, guarding dropped a 50 ball on you.
Yep.
That's not a good look, man. So like, that's why I don't even think, like, even in the high school level, I don't really, I get it, like the ESPN top, but like, save that stuff for like when you're a senior or junior, like freshman, sophomore. I mean, that can change.
Don't let it get to you. Don't let it change you. Don't let it.
Yeah.
Whether you're listed or you're not listed, don't let it get to you.
Mm-hmm. And then, that's funny you say that, because there was a good quote that I lived by when I was growing up, and it had it all on our shirts, was don't wish for it, work for it. Right? So it's like, oh man, I wish I was in your shoes, and we see that a lot, with our training, like, man, I wish I could be like him. I wish I could shoot like him. Work for it, man. Like, you can't pay to be like that guy.
No, you got to put in the hours.
You got to put it in.
I love
that quote.
Always, and it kind of hits on that as well. I always use the reference to a bank with that same thing, right? So
which bank? TD Bank, Chase Bank.
Man, they don't get no free plugs on this. But I always use the bank as a reference, right? So I'll ask a player whenever they say, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Or I had a bad game or I'm having a bad 6 games, whatever it is. And I'll say, well, how much did you put into this season? How much did you put into this game? Kind of like a bank, right? So if I put $20 in the bank, I can't just ask them to get 100 out, right? They're not going to give it to me. So you've got to work and work and work. And if you put in $100, guess what? You can get $100 out. If you put in 100%, then you can get 100% out.
Yeah.
But if you only put 20% in the off season,
you ain't.
Guess what you're getting out during the season?
It's probably going to be less than 20%. Man, no, I like that,
because they're gonna take interest during the season.
Yo, where my percentage is at? Yeah,
but no, so don't wish for it, work for it.
Yeah, and parents out there, players out there, don't take the rankings, with a heavy heart. Like, just let it cool. That's cool. Hey, I'm number 1. I'm number 5. I'm number 75th. Whatever it is, but don't let it get to you.
Nope, not one bit.
And don't pay for write-ups, please. Don't be that parent.
Which leads me to another thing, which is scouting services. And I'll touch on it quick. When it comes to recruiting, and this is more of an older, high school thing, but one of the things that I learned along my way is, why pay for something that you could do yourself? So I know there's a lot of recruiting service, and I get that question a lot too. So should I pay for my child to for the service to help my child get recruited? And my answer has always been, there's no one that is going to work harder for your child than you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could pay them. And I'm sure they would do an okay job. I mean, I'm sure they get paid for it, right? And they get 100 other people to pay them to do whatever that they say they're going to do. But who's going to work harder? Them? Or because you want it and you know that you want your child to have that, who's going to put the legwork in? Who's going to put more of that legwork in?
Yeah.
Not them.
Right.
You're going to do it because you want to see the results. So anything that they say that they can do, you can do yourself. And you probably could do it harder.
Yeah. No, I mean, I kind of like flash, because I used to, like back then for us, it was like you go to these exposure camps. And I think that's maybe still around.
Yeah.
But like me just looking back at it, it was just kind of a waste, because there was like, 75 to 100 kids there. And you go to this college and you're hoping to get, a college scout or the head coach's eye. But in reality, it's just like they don't spend any time with you. You're doing the same drills that you're good at and you can do on your own,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't want to say it's a money grab, but it's just like, I don't know if it's a waste of time.
It can be, and sometimes it's difficult to say, like, there's ins and outs to that as well, and I won't say whether or not it's a good or bad thing. They can be good. They are good. But then there's a lot of exposure camps such as that will. I'm trying to put it out the right way so nobody's offended. Forgive me for doing that, but so like, imagine I was a coach, right? Let's just say I coach at program XYZ, a collegiate program.
Is that a university or a college? XYZ University?
I can only be a university.
What do I get? Is there an application I can sign up? Come on now.
So if I'm a coach in that position, I have a budget that I need to take care of, right? Yeah. There's things that I need. There's expenses that I need to take care of in my program. There's things that just need to be paid for, and that's okay. But I need to raise money for some things.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of the elite camps and exposure camps, there are ways to raise money, which is okay, but you just have to understand which side of that fence you fit on.
Yeah.
Right? Are you a kid that can really have the skills to go to that particular school? Or are you a kid that has no chance of going to that school, but you got some information in the mail and you're basically invited to come?
Well, I guess I have a question for you. When is a good age to start going to exposure camps? Because for me, like I went through a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but I went to a good amount, and there was some that I went to when I was young. So obviously the young kids are going to get looked over. And then when I got a little bit older, I know I went to one and, I did catch a scout's eye, but again, I was older.
Yeah.
It was going through maybe like into my senior year or wherever. Yeah. But when is a good age to like start looking at that?
That's actually a good question.
Thank you.
And the way, the way that I always tell parents, there's two ways to look at it, right? Yes, it's not going to, I don't want to say it's not going to matter until the older years, right? But in this game of recruiting, there's a branding that comes with it, right? So me as a player, I have to have a certain branding I'll just say it that all recruiting is marketing, right?
Yeah.
You can't, coaches can't recruit what they don't see, right? Or they can't recruit what they don't know.
Right.
So if you can build a brand and build your name, then you at least have a base to go off or a foundation. So the earlier that you go into those type of camps, you have the opportunity to build a name, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe you go there in 7th grade, and are you expecting them to offer you a scholarship? No. But if you can go in there and do well, then maybe it becomes, oh, I like that guy, Michael. He's pretty good. Let me just say he's good. Yeah. All right. Then you go back to that same camp in 8th grade. Now it becomes, hey, Michael, welcome back. I remember you. Now you're going 9th and 10th, and every year it just becomes either you're getting better and you're becoming more and more noticed, or they say you haven't really changed. Yeah.
You're just a huge fan of that college. Yeah. Because I've seen that before too.
Absolutely. But all that to say, there's a branding aspect of it. So yes, it's okay to go early.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, no, you're not going there to get a scholarship. You're going there to get to build your name.
I got you. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. At one point, sometime, I'd love to get more into the recruiting stuff, and maybe even do some seminars and stuff like that. But it's in a nutshell, it's all a big game, right? You know, you look at all of the, I don't want to say their name, but the one particular sports company that has all the highlights of all the kids and stuff like that. You look at something like that, which has almost like the same kids consistently. Right. So what happens? Everybody starts to know those kids' names.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They almost become influencers in their own right. Right.
Just so based off of another platform.
So now it becomes, as a college, I've heard that name before.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's like even those kids don't pan out. Right.
But that just goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the rankings, because hey, if everybody knows who I am and I have 5.7 million followers, I'm good. It could get to that.
I don't want to get to a specific name, right? Man, I feel corny now.
No,
but you know what I mean. Like,
but you can kind of flash somebody in your mind.
Yeah. So, there was a particular kid. If you've been around basketball for a while, you've watched this kid grow. You've watched this kid,
just through social media.
Yeah. And the hype was built up around him for years, and it didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Because ultimately the skill wasn't there. That's what it really boils down to. Yes. Did he have some good crossovers and made some people fall here and there? Did he have some good battles in some camps and things like that? Did it make for good clicking? Right. Ultimately, there was a lot of companies that just used this kid for clickbait.
Yeah. For their own use. Yeah.
But ultimately, yes, he had a great following, a great brand, but nothing panned out for it.
Right.
And
that's the thing. I mean, I feel like a broken record, but it just that's the scary part of the social media world, or just that ranking world, because it can mess with you. Mess with you mentally. It can just even if let's just say you're at a young age, how do you deal with almost just any time you leave your house, you have maybe paparazzi, or you have all these people just coming up to you nonstop? Like, how do you deal with that when you're a 16, 17-year-old,
Yeah. Yeah, that it is crazy. I like.
Like I was
See,
watching, like if you remember The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, the Chicago Bulls. You know, there was a part in there where once Michael Jordan left, it was either the hotel, his house, like he had to. It was literally he had to perform, and he's not even on the basketball court yet.
Yeah.
But he had to perform that persona of like, hey, you know, I'm Michael Jordan. This is my outgoing personality. You know, and it's exhausting. Like if anybody saw you, you know, hey Mike, can I get an autograph? Can I get a picture?
Yeah.
You know, and this is him getting not worn out, but that's exhausting when you're stopping talking, you know, going from place to place, and then you have to practice. Then after practice, you have the media. Then after the media, you have you know, this press conference. Then you have to go actually play the game. Then after the game, you have to sign autographs and more media. It's just exhausting, man, when you actually come down and think about it. And you're talking about, you know, a professional player who's in his, you know, 20s, 30s, whatever. But you're talking about now kids. You know, how do you deal with that? Like, you know, if you're not ready for it.
We're in a space nowadays where almost everybody, let me put it this way, it's a very unique position that we're in society, right? Where we all have the opportunity to become, quote unquote, an influencer.
Yeah.
Right? So first and foremost, I stand on the side of, I love the fact that everybody has these opportunities, because I think that we're heading into a creator's market or creator's economy. But you have to be able to, there's no class to teach you that, right? There's no class to teach you how to handle that. There's no class to teach you how to stay humble within that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you look at all of the kids that are in the position that you're speaking of, where you know, maybe they're getting some notoriety, and you know, Mike, it was exhausting for Mike, but it's a really, really unique situation for them to be in. You know, you add to that the, you know, the NILs and things like that they have available to them. Right. Now, even in New Jersey, high school kids, right? High school kids can get paid to endorse whatever. So it's a real unique situation. I love the fact that it's available, but it's another one of those things where you just have to approach it with
you gotta find the
caution
right balance
and care.
Sure.
Definitely have the right people in your circle. Definitely have the right people, you know, to talk to and help you in that. But it's a good situation for many kids to be in, as long as they handle it appropriately.
And the work ethic.
Yes,
continues.
That comes with it. That comes with it. You know, both on and off the court, right? So you have to be able to have that work ethic, like you said, but then you have to be able to apply it.
Right. So it's kind of funny, like look at the Christian Laettner story, right? So like that dude's a legend on campus at Duke, and you know, really the only professional thing he did was he was on the dream team. Yeah. You know, but I don't think he ever played unless they were up by like 60. Yeah. You know, he got his gold medal, but I mean, for me being a competitor, I mean, yeah, that's cool. I got a gold medal, but I'm not going to really like share it or brag about it because I didn't really do anything. Yeah. You know, even Magic Johnson talks about that in the documentary. Like, you know, you can have the college kid. You can have Christian Laettner. We don't want him. You have him. That's Magic Johnson saying that. So it's like, you know, I don't know maybe what transpired from, you know, him graduating Duke to go to the NBA. I don't know if the work ethic stopped. I don't know. But that's the thing, like, and it's okay for you just to, hey, you know, I'm going to just be known as the college guy, you know, and that's, like I said, that's fine. You know, that's okay if that's what you want to do. But I mean, there's always a next level that you can always get to, you know? Yeah. So you just gotta, you always have to understand the work ethic. You have to just keep pushing if you want bigger and better things. Yeah. You know, just don't let it, hey man, you're great, so retire in college.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But
the end of it, like, you know, don't let rankings Don't let rankings get to you.
Nah, be humble,
Be humble.
stay level-headed, be grounded, and understand that everybody has an agenda. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And just understand that, right? How does that agenda work in most cases in their favor? Like we talked about a couple episodes ago. You know, a lot of times people will use the kids to their benefit.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is. The rankings are no different, right? It's an early way for people to get possibly access to a kid, especially on the men's side where it becomes, it can get pretty funny pretty quick. Whoever has early access has an opportunity to build relationships and maybe get a piece of the pie should it pan out. So understand that there's money involved, and anytime there's money involved, there's things can go sideways.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What did we say this was?
This was the flight engineer.
The flight engineer.
Under the plane.
Yeah, under the plane. Oh man,
that was a good one.
It was.
I know that one's been on my mind.
Yeah.
I talked to you a little bit on it, but I'm glad that we can kind of put our 2 cents in, or our $20 into the bank, as you say.
Just don't expect to get $100 out.
$21 out?
Nope.
Come on, man.
Nope.
Hey, you know what? You could get $20 out and get a lollipop.
You're absolutely right.
And if you got your dog with you, you get a dog treat. Every time I go to the bank, man, I always bring my dog.
Just so they can get a treat?
Get a free treat, dog. He deserves that free treat. I got the best dog in the world. At Apollo Leach on Instagram. Run it up.
Does he know what the word bank means?
No, but you know what? I gotta start. Yeah.
He's
a smart dude.
Have you ever done that that challenge where you start mentioning names?
No, I haven't seen that. What's that?
You start bonus.
You gonna listen to it? You gonna like it? 1, 2,
So, you just mentioned like all the dog's favorite things, like walk, ball, cookie,
sit,
treat, and then you just watch their head go.
I gotta start doing that.
Yeah,
I know he likes ball. He understands that.
Yeah.
Like outside, he knows that we're gonna go and like just tear it up.
Yeah.
He's gonna go unleash his energy.
Yeah. Do that when you get home. You just gotta just saying, hey, just put it in a normal conversation and then just make it like a big thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using bank. I'm gonna start using that term.
Wanna go to the bank? Anytime the dog sitter comes on, yo, my dog loves the bank for some reason. I don't know.
Yo, why is he drooling like that?
Oh, man. But yeah, listen, another episode down. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Zach Leach. Again, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We have Facebook, Hoop Lab. Reach out to us if you guys have any questions. We're always gonna get back to whether that's questions about what we talked about. If you're a player listening, shoot us some videos. I know we have some international followers. That's pretty cool. If you're training, whatever, use your phone. That is one of your best tools you have. So film yourself. Study your movements, study yourself, and you have two mentors right here that we can
absolutely. And be sure to download the app in the App Store.
What's the app?
Hoop Lab HQ. Do a search on that, and you'll find it. So much information in there. The podcasts are in there. The YouTube videos are in there. Blog articles, all the good stuff that happens here, we put in there. So just another resource for you to have, another way for you to stay in contact with us and things like that. So
You won't see any rankings in there.
No, we won't have any rankings in there. But
yeah, we appreciate it. This is a good one. Man, I love this. I love podcasts, Dish and Dimes.
Every week.
We're coming through
every time.
Coming through your car radio. Flight engineer. About to clock out. Plane's gonna take off.
Zach Leach, TakeFlight. Out.
We out. What happened to peace? Peace.